Hello everyone, this is Cookies. I've got turn 16, and we've got Agartha and Jotunheim sending messages. Boring but important turns the last turns, as I finally get infrastructure up. Money is becoming tight again, but the solution has presented itself. Oceania has finally agreed to move against Yes. We will be doing a joint attack. Pythium has expressed interest in attacking Yes, but I'm not 100% sure he's not cooperating with Yes and fishing for information. Regardless, he can join in and vulture a bit when it happens. The news from Jotunheim is good, and as expected as well. Or from Nabah, I think is what he means, because Nabah won that fight. The first stage of this war will be taking Yes's forts and land on the southern shore, maybe wrapping around a little to the southwest shore. Hopefully, the first big battles will happen underwater as he defends against Oceania. I have no plans to go underwater during the start of the war, but will be ready to do so. My research goal is construction for and summoning great olms, which should be a very effective counter to Yes. By the time the shoreline is taken, I should be fully prepared for amphibious warfare as well, and we'll see what the status of the underwater deathmatch is. Until I have the olms, my plans are basically the same but more. I'm summoning in 5 sentinels a turn, and we'll be sending out multiple mages for Strength of Giants. I came very close to shattering shields several times in that battle, and Earth Grip. I hope Yes prioritizes other enemies, but I need to make a move now or resign myself to being a second-rate power as others start eating their own neighbors. Right. I've messed up. I completely forgot about Shockwave, and I never bothered to level Evo 2 for testing. Oof. Yep. I had a feeling that that was something that wasn't shown to him yet. Never dealt with Colossuses that early and paid for my hubris. I think, yeah, maybe he just needs like some GSS thugs with Chakras gear, and he can probably clean that up. My bad. Not that devastating, even though losing 2k of troops sucks. I bought 2 Smashers from Agartha and 2 Rings of Tamed Lightning from Pythium to deal with the Colossus. Wow. Okay. I mean, that'll also work. Wasn't expecting to see Smashers out yet. Well, I guess it's the same level of text, so that makes sense. So it will be dead in 5 to 6 turns. For now, I'll try to avoid it and lightly raid Nabah while finishing up my expansion in other parts. Good. Do you like finishing expansion? Actually, I think it might even help me out a bit, because if Nabah died that early, it would have made me the biggest threat. But since Nabah boasted about his victory, it makes everyone easier about me growing that fast. Agartha and Pythium helped me with items because they expect me to help with Yes, so all is good. Alright. Shotgun Eddie has claimed the inner throne. And let's go ahead and see the battles. For this turn, we don't have as much player combat, so I'm going to focus on the player combat first. And this is a lot of Morvarks. Ooh, we've got some gear on them too. All right, so 6 GSS Morvarks. I should take a look at the Hall of Fame as well. So this one's got physical strength and hits for 37. This one's got increased protection, so 24 defense, 20 prot. This one is not a hero. This one has heroic toughness, so more hit points up at 26. Wonder where all these diseases came from. I wonder if that was whatever battle in Menchaca that we missed. Could be from death poison. Like the poison ticks maybe caused some afflictions. And one more hero. This one's Valor, so ideally should be leading the army, potentially. +1, +1. Alright. And then we've got Giant's Spine. Alright, a little raid of spiders killing some PD. And then another spider raid from Machaka killing some Yes PD. Alright, and then we've got Naba raiding around. So first up is Durland. We've got the camels going in. They'll kill this commander pretty quickly. Yep. And then Anasia or Anasia. Alright, we got the Bronze Colossus. This is not the number of Throne Sardines I thought he might try to go kill, or maybe it was a bad scouting report. But he should be able to clear all of this up. And this is the compounding effect of Naban's victory on his cap. So these troops were probably some of the ones that were cut off. No. Oh, he killed the reinforcements on the way in. Alright. Then we got Feral Woods. Or, sorry, Jome, another raid. Then we've got Black Forest here. So let's go ahead and see this. We got the Giga leading around a small little squad. Doing some animate skeleton. Alright. Let's see. And then in terms of killing PD, killing some Tritons with all the Kappas. Ooh, this is a fair amount of attrition. Sinos are pretty tough, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I think he's back deployed probably to try and help save the mage. There are bow variants of these guys. They've got a short bow, so they could potentially snipe a mage. The downside is he's getting all strung out here. Oh, the heal is pretty annoying too. Alright, but he does eventually win the battle. So yeah, but takes a fair amount of attrition doing so. Then Old Gold. We have... I think he's using these deer tribes to lance catch. Yeah. Do they actually lance catch? They do. Alright, so that was kind of perfect. Now, just as like a troop comparison, these are the stats on an Emerald Guard. So we have 18 protection, 16 defense, 14 attack, 18 damage broadsword. The heavy infantry, by contrast, worse protection, worse defense, worst attack. Yeah, so Emerald Guard are definitely superior troops in this battle of heavy infantry. Only loses 2. And then, so we got the Cathedral of Rock. Dai Bakemono are pretty tough, so you can see how well they did. Pinging a throne. Killing Bone Tribe. Let's go ahead and see how he does this versus the Bone Tribe. I would have expected Bone Tribe to have gotten a few more kills. I guess he's brought a lot of archers, though. Alright. So, clears that up. I think that might be, or this might be a lot of the final little independent groups finally getting cleared up. The throne getting pinged. And Scout getting killed by Kamazots, trying to ping how many Zots are there, I guess. Alright. So here we are. We're on turn 16. All right, so Nabat's got, I guess, this cap circle here. He's got some camel riders here. Now, this looks very different from last turn, because I remember there was stuff down here. So it looks like these guys moved to Trottern, and this little group maybe moved up here. And maybe, and some stuff moved over here to Timeless Ways. I think this Oceania stack is going to go take Ivermark. Maybe he tries to take this throne and then he attacks CS. We'll have to see. We do have an assassination. A Bane Spider. Okay. Going up against one of the GSS Morvarks. Doesn't have the mount in the library. Okay. That would simply be too rude to have one's mount in the library, especially a fire-breathing mount. All right. Let's see. So Machaka's at least retaken his cap circle now. There's still Yes raiding parties kind of out and around. Ooh. 2 ancient temples of the deep, 2 pearls, and 2 water. I wonder if he tries to lab this down here just to get all that income. We'll have to see. At the moment, he's trying to hold Cliff Coast because he's got a fort going up. Chaka's reconsolidated in his capital. All right, I think that's the column. Let's see, coming over here, we've got an Oceania fort on the front line, very aggressively positioned. Oh, on this Mirror Lake to get Illusionists. Okay. Let's see. Okay, they're not amphibious or anything, but he should be able to make water breathing gear if he wants. And having your own Veil Army mechanic can be really strong for hiding an army. Like if he had 4 of these Illusionists, he could probably hide this whole army and yes, wouldn't see it coming. Let's see. And then Agartha is building up in his capital. So he's up to 100 units now, so rapidly increasing the size of his army. Trying to build up to take on these Bakemono. And yeah, probably trying to get his research going with these sages as well. All right. Then Mount Frost, where he gets the winter wolves. Yeah, war has not started yet, but they're definitely maybe angling for it. And then Pythium here. I mean, Pythium's had such good expansion. I do wonder if he plans, he pinged this fort down here, so I wonder if he plans to bring this army south to try and go get this throne. And then Pyrene, or Pyrenees, however you want to say it, they are, yeah, it's still very much too small. They're at 11 provinces. He does have a bunch of Ichthids here, so it looks like he's going to make an attempt on the Sea of Mermaids and maybe getting this swamp here. And that would give him a couple more provinces and a fair bit more gold. And then Shinyama has a large army on the Pyrene border, along with a bunch of Kappa too. All right. And yeah, I think that's it for this turn. I'll go ahead and jump into the next turn. Turn 17. All right, so I've got turn 17 here, and we have a fair number of battles here. So let's go ahead and jump into them. So Naba going after Equestria. Number of camel riders, some Janguard. There's a few Thrymsardings here. And I think Thrymsardings do fairly well against Janguard and the camel riders. If you get decent surrounds, you can kill them. But this is a kind of like a stats bless, so it's definitely harder than if it were a lighter bless. And they'll match up well even against the Janguard, especially Janguard like this that aren't blessed. And I don't think they had much of a bless either, if I remember right. So that raid bounces. I do still think this is a Jotunheim favored war, especially if people are trading him smashers. I think it's a little early to maybe be trading Jotunheim smashers unless you want his help with something else. I think you want him to struggle a little bit with the Colossus, because once that goes down, then Naba's going to fall pretty quickly. Alright, so we have some Morvark Knights and some Spooters. I do think we missed some of the combat between them at one point, especially judging by how many were diseased. So it'll be nice to see the matchup now, finally. Now, these webs, negated by larger strong beams. I wonder if it's just like a standard web, or if the web gets bigger for bigger spiders. But the web doesn't seem to be doing much to the Morvarks. Oh, one of them just fucking died. Let's see. $11 points of damage. Oh, just smacked with a falchion. Alright. Later, Morvark. Oh, that's right. They do have magic weapons. Which doesn't help versus Glamour. I don't think, at least. Yeah, I don't think it affects mirror image, but it should allow them to. Yeah, I don't think it does anything here. Could be wrong though. One of the spiders goes down. Yeah, one of them got hit by death poison here. So you can see how it's webbed. So it's down at 2 defense. And then it gets hit with a big death poison. So attack roll 25 versus defense roll 15. Oh. Here we go. Attack roll 21 versus defense roll 11. Then we just get a huge death poison hit. Is it? There was no protection on that, so I guess it was a crit? Wait, no, Venomous Fangs. Effect on damage. So as long as it does some damage, I guess it would be 0, because it's armor negating. Okay. So that one dies. Seems like a pretty bloody matchup. Alright, the spiders win this one. Yeah, Pythium getting to peace out with Machaca, I think should just favor Pythium more and more as time goes on. When sacred-based nations or hell-blessed nations war each other rather than scales nations, I do think it provides room for scales nations to scale, and it can dramatically shift how the mid game looks. Because instead of snowballing, these sacred nations tend to lose a bunch of their sacreds. And then the Scales Nation is instead the one snowballing, and they snowball a little bit harder once they get rolling. Alright, so yeah, it loses one Black Hunter and kills 4 of the Morvark Knights. Jotunheim attacking Nabaa. Just a little group of Veti. Does it succeed? Oh, that was a big hit. Damn. 12 damage. Alright. And then Tiradir. The Bronze Colossus is here. Should succeed versus this. Let's see. Next up, we've got Blue Waters. Kappas do manage to kill off the Kalulu, but lose 11. So they do take some attrition. Alright, let's see this, because this kind of looks a little bit like a disaster. So we've got the Demon Priest, whose job is to bless, but it doesn't look like he feels like it. Instead, he's just charging in. Bud? Definitely a misscript. Or maybe no script and he just assumed it would cast. Oh, it does finally do some blessings. But these Bakemono haven't been intercepted. So they killed both commanders, which routes the army. And they catch 2 of the giants. I guess but they only kill 1. So this should have been a pretty easy raid for Shinyama here. Or no, Agartha here. I do wonder if maybe it would have worked out better if he had forward deployed just in the center. And maybe stuff got going faster, or like the enemy could close while his stuff was still in a box. Maybe that would have worked better. But yeah, losing 300 gold, 295 gold mage and a 75 gold demon priest and a 40 gold sacred, and whatever he lost in the retreat is not great versus a few Bakemono. Alright, but that's a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking. But yeah. Pyrene, the Ichthids go after the Marrow and lose. Marrows suck. But these are the bad Ichthids. They don't have the armor and the shields. And these are the good Marrow. They do have armor and shields. So I think that's where this discrepancy comes in. I wonder if this was like the Merc company. Or maybe he was just trying to come up with something quick. But yeah, this bounces, which is not good for Pyrene. And then yeah, it goes ahead and kills the Zots. We've got Machaka attacking Yes. So another little spider raid. And here we do have some of the good Ichthids. So I think these spiders are definitely going to bounce. It's even got Kernel Warriors. Okay. Alright, the spiders did better than I thought, but the Ichthids still won. Alright. Let's see, where was that? That was here. So yeah, 5 of the spider riders go down. They kill 16 of the bad Ichthids, but the good ones did just fine. And Delepa kills off 50 barbs. Then in Death Marsh, Chaka going in with another Spider Rider raid. So these seem to be his raids of choice. Now 9 of these is 225 gold, plus the chief is 55 gold. So just under 300 gold for a little raiding party. They seem pretty decent for that. Alright. And then Yes attacks with 22 more marks. So this is their, I guess, like their big concentration, their stack, going after Swandi here. Pyrene attacks Scatly Swamps, takes out the lizards. Jotunheim goes after Naba. Let's see, Shinyama loses 2 dieback mana, but does kill off the rebellious goblins. Brings them back under control. And then, yeah, the Camel Riders run into 11th Realm Sortings. We can go ahead and watch this one, but they're mostly gonna freeze out pretty quickly. I guess there's a lot of barbarians too. And then additionally, with the Camel Riders against Barbs, I think you often do want to just do the archery, but I wouldn't have changed my script necessarily. And he did get a fairly nice route on the Barbs, and I think these might have been mercenary barbarians. So with them running off the field, they're effectively dead. So this raid isn't quite as bad as it looked. Let's see. Where was that? That was here in Winter Peaks? No, it was PD. Never mind. So pretty big PD dump. I think was this 25 PD? Probably got 2 barbs per PD level. Never mind then. So basically gets racked 23 gold times, yeah, 23 times 23. So it's well over, what, 400 gold? And gets nothing for it. But, I mean, did get some provinces prior, but now doesn't have those camel riders. So that was a pretty big win for Jotunheim. Won't swing the war, but it certainly helps. Alright, Pythium killing some indies. The Afroi go after the knights, and he loses a mage here, it looks like. So we have a bunch of knights here, a big block of them. And the knights are broken. It must have been these longbows. Yeah, they picked off the mage there. Cool. Let's see, so that was here. So loses the Hierophant and a couple of sacreds, but does get the farmland, and the farmland's pretty nice. The giant rat tries to kill a commander. Oh, we get an arena battle, but only 2 people sent anything. Alright. So we have a diseased Yes Commander and a diseased Shootin' Doji. Honestly, I think these things are kind of worth sending someone to. Like maybe one of the GSS Morvarks could have been sent. Maybe a diseased one even. Because, I mean, the prize is definitely pretty nice. So that Shutendochi just got 391 gold and 22 fire gems. Like, to me, this is worth sending something to. Even if it's just a diseased commander or something. Alright. So in terms of the caves, Agartha bounces off of this. Looks like he had pretty high attrition in the route, according to the scouting report, or maybe it went up and out the other side. Never mind. So he doesn't own that. So yeah, pretty bad attrition. This is still Indies. Shinyama is trying to build up to take this out. Maybe trying to build up here to take this out. Does get a lava lake. Pythium sends a big army into the caves. Although 80 cavemen might give him pause. It's generally what scares you when you walk into the cave systems. We've got Yes here. We've got Jotunheim and Agartha here. So, yeah, so this cave is cleared out now. And I think we can go ahead and look at the main map now. Okay, so... Alright, so Nambaz kind of like reset the border here with his Bronze Colossus rather than backfilling his cap circle. And now he's got the Thrums running around. I think I would have prioritized killing the Thrums. And Jotunheim, it looks like has worked on finishing expansion. He's got at least one province in each of these like border areas, except the one with Namba. So he only has to take Farron Mountains now. I'm not sure how he's going to feel about having Machaca down here in Deathmarsh. But maybe he'll go take that. I'm not sure. And then, because there's definitely a lot of fighting in this column. So, Yes has moved into Swandi, which is in the cap circle. He sees all the spiders now, it feels like. There's one little group up here. And then we've got, yeah, the spider raid that bounced here. I guess there's, oh, some Morvarks moved here after? I'm not sure. Oh, did they retreat? They retreated from here. Okay, so this is where they went. Yeah, I do wonder if maybe the plan is just try to cap Machaca to prevent spider production, but that I'm not sure if that'll go well for him. Or if he wants to try and put Kuna or Ral under siege. I mean, this fort is still being built, so you might want to be somewhat careful about that. And these two forts are fully upgraded and up and running. Agartha is still building up in its cap. We're starting to see the raiding groups filling out. He's got some winter wolves here. Some pale ones down here in Daman. So he's getting ready to go. I am curious if this stack here, because they still have their profits so they can get blessed, if they decide they want to try and take this throne, or if they decide that they want to go after, yes, underwater. Certainly doesn't look like it. I think if I were about to attack, yes, I'd maybe want some more troops ready to move out. So I do wonder if he's just planning to take this throne. It is the Golden Throne, so another adept of the Golden Order. And here's the tower. All right, and then for Pythium, where is their army? Oh, I guess it's underground. And then maybe trying to build up to go after more thrones. He's got time. He doesn't need to be in a particular hurry. There's still gray flags to take. And then for Pyrene, Pyrenee, He's got this stack in Lost Lands. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, did I miss this? All right. Let's go ahead and watch this. So we've got Shinyama here. Must have missed a couple of fights. All right, so we got Elephant Riders. Yeah, it's the Hannibal Mercs. Got some lesser water elementals, a long line of dieback archers. Archers should do pretty well against this big mass. Recruiting Lion Tribe is... I guess they help take up slings. They've got shields, so they must have been custom recruited for this. Elephants doing what they do best, which is run away through their own lines. It's my strong opinion that when elephants rout, your own troops ought to be able to kill them. Alright, so they've royally disrupted the formation here. That said, Daibakemono are still really good, although it doesn't help the Shootin' Doji ran. Ooh, all the commanders have routed. No, we still have a Bakemono general. Okay. So this was a lot closer than it looked. Alright. So what does he get? He gets the Throne of Death. So +1 death scale. He does have 2 growth, so he can claim it to get that death income. And Shinyama can definitely put death gems to use. He's also in blue waters, so he's taking the lake. I think next he could potentially go after these Bloodhenge druids, and then maybe try to meet up and take out the cavemen here. There's still a few more gray flags. And then here, yeah, so I think that's, yeah, I think that's good for this turn. Where are we at? We're at 37 minutes. I think it's been a while since I've looked at the graphs, so let's go ahead and look at them really quick. So Yes is down from their highs. Shinyama is now the largest player. For forts, Yes, it does have the most forts, though. They've been busy building. Income-wise, Shinyama and Pythium are above Yes. Both of them have very good scales. And they're starting to get some area under the curve in terms of income. And when you take a big bless, what you want to see is you want to see that province count be significantly above the scales players so that your income can kind of keep pace. And what we're actually seeing is Jotunheim's income is decreasing. Machaca's is recovering and is near the bottom. So this is definitely a game where the scales players are playing pretty well, especially Shenu and Pythium. And so this could end up being a scales game in terms of who ends up being favored to win. Shinyama with a big increase in gem income this turn. Maybe we can go creep on them really quick. Blood income, we've got a little bit from Agartha. I believe that's the inner throne. And maybe they're doing a little hunting. I don't know. For research, Machaca's in the lead. But otherwise, everyone's in a pretty tight band except Yes and Jotunheim. For Dominion, we've got Pythium and Machaca here. Army size, Shenu took quite a few losses this turn, but they did get a throne for their efforts. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and see thrones claimed. Oh, I did forget to look at the Hall of Fame. So Edward Blackfist, a merc, is dead. But we've got a couple of Pyrene guys in here, and basically a bunch of Morvarks. I think we manually looked at most of the Morvarks, so that's probably fine. And yeah, I think that's it for this turn. So I'll go ahead and cut it off here, and I will see you guys in the next one.